Turning to the day's other headlines, President Trump says there can be no changes to a funding package that the House aims to pass this week to fully reopen the federal government. He also says he's working hard with Speaker Mike Johnson to make that happen. A partial government shutdown began at the end of last week. That came after the Senate passed a measure on Friday that would extend funding for the Department of Homeland Security for just 2 weeks as Democrats push to rein in President Trump's immigration crackdown. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told reporters today that he's also working with Johnson on a potential deal, but that DHS funding remains a sticking point.
Still haven't seen a clear path articulated, an ironclad path articulated by the Trump administration related to the type of dramatic changes that are necessary in order to rein ICE in. It's out of control, and the American people know it.
This latest funding battle comes just months after a 43-day shutdown last fall, which was the longest in history. Parts of the southeastern U.S. are digging out from another weekend winter storm. This time, it was North Carolina that took the biggest hit. Some areas broke records with more than a foot of snow, and there were more than 1,000 traffic collisions, 2 of them fatal. In the meantime, tens of thousands are still without power across the South more than a week after the last crippling storm. While in Florida, farmers rushed to protect their citrus crops from some of the coldest air in decades, with the cold weather set to continue. Meantime, in Pennsylvania this morning,
it's Punxsutawney Phil!
The world's most famous groundhog reportedly saw his shadow, which by tradition means 6 more weeks of winter. Though to be fair, national weather experts say Phil is accurate less than half the time. What we do know is that milder temperatures are coming tomorrow for parts of the southeast and mid-Atlantic, with temperatures rising above freezing for the first time in days. In Dilley, Texas, officials at an immigration detention center are working to contain a further spread of measles after 2 infections were reported this weekend. The facility is where 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father were held until their release over the weekend. The pair flew from San Antonio back to Minneapolis yesterday after a judge ordered they be freed. Meanwhile, the public school district in Minnesota where Ramos attended classes was shut today due to what authorities are calling a credible threat. A police official described it as racially and politically motivated, but did not mention Ramos by name. Police in Arizona say they're investigating the disappearance of the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie as a crime. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen on Saturday night near her home in Tucson and was reported missing yesterday. Officials say Guthrie has physical ailments but no cognitive issues. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos is asking for the community's help and says that authorities have not ruled out foul play.
We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own. We know that.
Nanos also said that Savannah Guthrie is now in Arizona with her family. Earlier, she issued a statement thanking supporters and saying that, quote, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said today that he believes it is, quote, realistic to achieve a dignified and lasting peace with Russia. This comes ahead of a new round of U.S. brokered talks set for later this week in Abu Dhabi. In the meantime, in Ukraine, a Russian drone hit a bus carrying mine workers in the southeast of the country. Officials say at least 12 people were killed. Earlier in the day, another strike hit a maternity hospital, injuring 6 people. A resident who lives nearby says she doesn't hold out much hope for a ceasefire.
And today, Russia is simply wiping people out. Personally, no, I don't believe it. No truce. Until they wipe us all out, nothing will happen.
President Zelensky also said today that there had been no new targeted strikes on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, even as many Ukrainians suffer from frigid temperatures. Last week, President Trump said he convinced Russia's Vladimir Putin to pause strikes for a week because of the cold, but that halt was due to have expired yesterday. President Trump says he's cutting tariffs on India from 25% to 18%. In a social media post, Trump said the change comes after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi agreed to stop buying Russian oil. India is the second largest buyer of Russian crude after China. Trump says India will instead buy more oil from the U.S. and potentially from Venezuela. In the meantime, on Wall Street today, stocks rose to start the week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added more than 500 points, or about 1%. The Nasdaq gained around 130 points. The S&P 500 also ended the day in positive territory. And it was a night of firsts at the 2026 Grammy Awards. Bad Bunny won Album of the Year for Debí Tirar Más Fotos, the first sung entirely in Spanish to earn the top prize.
I want to dedicate this award to all the people that had to leave their homeland, their country, to follow their dreams.
In his speech, the superstar continued his criticism of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. It comes just a week before he headlines the Super Bowl halftime show. It was also a historic night for Kendrick Lamar, whose 27th Grammy makes him the most awarded rapper ever. And a gold trophy went to Golden from the blockbuster hit K-pop Demon Hunters, making it the first ever K-pop song to win a Grammy. Still to come, on the NewsHour, the president announces a 2-year closure of the Kennedy Center for renovations after cancellations by multiple artists. Tamara Keith and Amy Walter break down the latest political headlines. And the historic Studio Museum in Harlem reopens in a larger space to showcase the history of Black art in America.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, headquarters of PBS News.